Hi everyone, I'm Elhabiby. I'm a telco sales specialist in the Global Telco Center of Excellence at Red Hat. In my role, actually, I work with customers across the EMEA region to realize the value in technologies that are delivered from the open source, where we actually contribute with the upstream communities on driving innovative technologies, and then we strengthen them and secure them and offer them to enterprise customers with focus on the telecom space as well. So we work a lot with telecom operators from a dedicated department perspective. Before my role at Red Hat, I spent 10 years in Vodafone, so I've seen the business from both sides. In Vodafone, I was doing network roles. I was in the radio space. I saw the business from an enterprise perspective and delivered a number of products as well around private networks and edge and the use cases surrounding them. And before that, I was at Nokia and Orange in my early career. So I'm coming here today to speak to you about the feedback we are getting from our customers on AI. So what actually our customers are looking at the moment and how we are helping them overcoming some of the typical challenges that they are seeing today in their infrastructure and around the adoption and the operationalization of AI. So first of all, why now? Why are we talking about AI a lot now? So as it has been said, actually, AI is not a new technology. Probably in telcos, we have been using AI since 3G came in place. Probably may have not been tagged as AI, but it was under the banner of automation and analytics. We were doing a lot actually on the network side with self-optimizing networks. We were doing a lot on the fixed networks as well. So there has been already developments that were coming for the last 10 or 15 years within telcos around AI. The hype that came actually with Gen AI generated a lot of interest and a lot of focused investments from telecoms into actually setting up center of excellences and setting up teams that would look specifically at AI and delivering value to the organization as well as external benefits. And this is why actually it's really important that we tackle the AI opportunity today. So if I split this into three main factors that are actually contributing to why AI now, the first one is actually AI technologies are becoming much more accessible than they used to be before. So we are seeing a lot of options when it comes to large language models. Some of them are proprietary, some of them are open source. You can tap into these. You don't have to develop your own model. You can fine tune it. You can use it for your own benefit with your own domain knowledge. We are also seeing a lot of combinations between software and hardware. So there are actually different combinations that can fit into your cost, like your budgets, and at the same time can fit into your requirements as well. So it's not like a very super niche kind of area anymore. And the second reason is actually companies are populating the market today, developing AI applications on the back of Gen AI, on the back of the predictive AI, on the back of combination of both. And it has been more increasing than ever before that we are seeing use cases and so on being offered. And we need to assess all of these and make sure what works for us. So there needs to be a business case behind each. There needs to be a risk assessment behind each in comparison to the company's strategy and defining a clear success story or success criteria for how we develop these AI technologies. And then the third one is telcos are facing an ever-increasing data actually within the operator space. So we are seeing actually a lot of data being generated by 5G today, a lot of data being generated by enterprise services more than ever before, as well as consumers. So we are ready now to start actually making use of this data, or telcos telling us that they are ready now to start making use of this data, and this is an opportunity for us to get this data from the unstructured position it's in into actually something more tangible, something that brings the benefits. So are telcos key in the value chain for AI? It's debatable, but we think that telcos actually have got really critical kind of ingredients for AI that they can offer to the wider communities. So we are seeing, first of all, telcos own a lot of data sources. These data sources coming from RAN, from core, from enterprise, from consumer, from edge. So all of these data sources now are key for actually bringing in the benefits of AI, purely because you have to feed in the right data into an observability model that can then actually bring you the trusted observability and analytics that you can then feed into this closed loop automation that brings in the benefit, the overall benefit of AI. And if you have this data, then actually you have solved part of this problem in the beginning. This is very critical. The second thing is actually telcos have invested a lot in the past period on distributed infrastructure, on bringing in all of these assets around nationwide kind of geographies. Like every operator has got at least 10,000, 20,000 masts and sites around the country, lots of POP slots. So this makes actually telcos probably one of the biggest data center owners in the world. And we can leverage this for AI developments, even if for internal use, it doesn't have to be external. But when we are talking about AI, there are lots of angles where the use cases require data sovereignty, require data gravity, and this is where actually telecoms can become very actually suitable for this discussion. I heard someone on the panel discussing the fact that telcos can become the owners or the leads for the sovereign AI. And I think this actually can get back to this element, which is about the ability to have this distributed infrastructure. The third element is actually the networks. So mobile and fixed networks, they are key. We are seeing that actually the inter-data center kind of traffic has increased dramatically after the starting of GenAI. And this is because actually GenAI, when you search on GenAI for something, or when you actually want it to generate something, it goes and does the same like Google does, right? It searches between the different data centers and so on. This is all internet traffic that we are generating, and this requires a lot of connectivity. And telcos are best positioned to provide connectivity as part of this proposition for AI. So what is driving the adoption of AI for telcos that we are seeing from our customers today? First of all, there is an opportunity that we are talking about, big opportunity. I'm not probably going to be speaking much about it from an analyst perspective, but definitely analysts expect that there will be very big numbers actually on the market size for AI by 2029. I think more than $36 billion globally for the telecom industry is going to be coming from AI. What's more important is actually telecoms are businesses, and businesses usually look to make money. And in order to make money, you need to do two things. You need to actually reduce your expenditure, and you need to increase your profitability and you increase your revenue. And AI has got the potential to do both. So with developments from a productivity and efficiency perspective, you can get actually AI to provide you assistance into the way you do things today. As Osman mentioned on the panel as well, like how you can actually reduce the time it takes to do dummy tasks and admin tasks by the use of predictive AI and generative AI together, and maybe leverage the rest of the time in order to do more productive activities. Increasing customer satisfaction is where also chatbots come into place, and the ability to actually complement the existing customer representatives with the right tools that actually allow them to take proactive actions, or put that automation in a closed loop where actually it proactively also remediates the actions that are being taken. And the third one is profitability. And this is where actually everyone is talking about AI also from a perspective of providing AI as a service, AI factories, AI hubs. And this is actually how telcos can become the marketplace for AI. And this can bring a lot of benefit to the wider verticals and communities. So apologies, I think it got distorted. I will explain what I mean here. So there are two types of AI use cases that we are seeing today. There are lots of AI use cases that have actually been there for some time. They are either in POC stage already, or they have even gone into production already. And this is what our customers are working on today. So these are the types of use cases that have been leveraging more predictive AI under the name of smart automation, where we are having an AI ML into observability, into an automation piece, which provides you analytics, whether in real time or not, but providing you analytics that you can make a lot of use on. So things like actually predictive maintenance is where you analyze trends, you analyze behaviors in your network or in your services, and then on the back of this, actually, you can proactively detect if there are any anomalies, if there are any issues, and accordingly act on it in order to fix it. On the network performance management, we have been seeing SON, we've been seeing developments on that perspective in order to actually more in a way where we don't put it in closed loop to take self-autonomous actions, but reducing that risk, you are actually putting it in an open loop where you actually bring a lot of insights to the network optimizers where they can make use of it and start actually optimizing their network and planning their network accordingly with less effort. We're seeing marketing campaigns where you want to treat every customer as the only customer, n equal 1 customer. So this is where actually crunching so many data together and harvesting this data in a way you can actually make decisions around tailored offerings for these customers based on their demographics, based on your usage trends, based on different actually places that they have visited and so on. And this is where actually also maybe build actually the capability for the marketing representatives to take that information and act on it. What's common here, by the way, is that they have lower challenges and lower entry barriers to AI, meaning actually you're not putting it in closed loop, so you are not actually, so you have less risk here for what it will offer, for having the hallucinations behind it, and at the same time actually you are making use of the technology for improving the productivity, the customer experience, and efficiency. But there are some ambitious use cases. So this is where actually our customers are exploring today. And these use cases have been more actually towards the use of the combination of predictive AI when it comes together with generative AI. So with the predictive part, you're actually gathering the data, you're putting this data into a model which allows you to see how the trends will look like and predict on the back of it how things would look like, but then actually taking remediation actions on the back of this data in order to actually fix something. Number one in this, actually, everyone is actually spending a lot of effort and investments today on sustainability. And I have an example in the next slide exactly how we are doing that. So I will explain that, but end-to-end sustainability for our networks is going to be key, and the use of AI is going to be crucial. This is actually to allow you to, for example, allocate the right resources without the impact on performance to actually reduce the energy consumption, but at the same time, how you can ideally place the workload, whether on the edge, whether on the data centers, whether on the public cloud, and how you can move it autonomously between all of these different areas for the sake of sustainability and also for the sake of performance. This is just one example. When it comes to advanced network management, how we can actually not only bring in recommendations and insights, but how we can make it truly real time, how we can actually take actions so that we make it self-autonomous networks more actual autonomous, where they can take parameter configuration changes and channel spectrum management and so on in order to provide the best efficiency possible as our networks get more dense with customers. And if we talk about marketing, we talk about actually how we can generate all of these marketing materials for campaigns on a global level with the translations needed and so on, so they can be offered to all the customers across, if you have different geographical opcos. And obviously, the telco as a marketplace is where I spoke. This is where a lot of customers are thinking today, how we can build an AI factory that can allow us to actually collaborate around AI developments, whether on country level or on global level, or certain domain level as well. So let's put this to real life. So what are we doing actually in that space? One example I wanted to bring here because it's very close to my heart. I've worked on this project for the last probably 1 or 2 years. But we are working with upstream communities in the area of sustainability because we realize that operators consume more than 2 to 3% of the worldwide consumption of energy. 75% or more of that is from the RAN network. The first problem we faced when we were dealing with this problem is that we are completely blind to how much energy is being consumed at every level when it comes to the node, to the pod, to the cluster, and so on. And this is the infrastructure level that we are talking about, where most of the actual consumption is. So we worked with upstream communities, as typically we do in Red Hat, in order to actually collaborate around bringing observability piece for sustainability on these levels. So we can see how much energy consumption is being done on the pod level, on the node level, and so on, in order to actually be able at least to visualize that and understand where's the problem coming from. That was called Project Kepler, or Kubernetes Efficient Level Exporter, Power Level Exporter. So in this project, actually, it was more of predictive AI kind of development, where we wanted to actually crunch all of this data, bring in the right KPIs, and have the regression around the data that can bring me the prediction on how the trends are going to be for energy consumption on each level, and accordingly make use of this data in real time manually in order to take decisions. What we are doing now is actually taking this into the next level, which is Project KEDA. KEDA is actually the Kubernetes Event-Driven Autoscaling. And now, with Project KEDA, what we're looking at is how can we crunch all of these thousands of KPIs, not just coming from the infrastructure, but also from the workload, and how we can put them in a closed loop automation where we can take actions on the back of them automatically for auto-scaling the resources without impacting the performance. And this is exactly an example of how the whole AI actually ecosystem should work. We should work collaboratively. We should develop actually things like in steps, but at the same time, most importantly, we should put these to tests, and this is what we are doing today with our customers in order to actually scale it up later. Now, a lot of our customers are coming to us and saying, we have been testing actually a lot of use cases recently. We have done a lot of POCs around some of these use cases. How are we going to be scaling actually these use cases? How are we going to be putting them in production? And what can actually you offer to us? And I think this is a very important challenge that we want to solve here. So it ties up with adoption, it ties up with operationalization. More importantly, if we think about it from the perspective of time, time is the most important resource that we have in the world, right? If we are right on time with our products and services to the market, then we will get the full benefit, actually. We will win this market. If we are too late, if we're doing things actually in a much slower way, obviously we might not win this battle. And what we are talking about here is actually a lot of our customers are seeing that this process from idea to production is taking so much time. It's taking a year or even more. And the reason behind this is that actually it lacks the consistency behind it. It lacks the strategy behind it. The reason for this is actually a lot of customers in the POC stage think about the model. And the model is very important for the beginning, but might not be actually the most important thing as you go into production. Because as you start putting that model in production, you need to start thinking about different aspects. You need to start thinking about all of these boxes. So you need to start thinking about the life cycle of the model, how you will manage this model from the development stage to the deployment stage to monitoring this model. Monitoring the model is key because actually once you put that model in production, the performance starts to drift over time. How can you actually have the feedback loop in order to make sure that it's not drifting and you're fixing it and you're feeding it with the right information to keep relevant? How you can collect the data as we go forward continuously, not just in the beginning, not just one-off. How you can keep collecting the data and do the verifications needed, and how you can do the features extractions and so on and so forth. So this is actually the whole toolbox that you need to bring around AI in order to keep it in a continuous production manner in order to scale up. If we look at how this process looks like, so to streamline AI in production, it means that you need actually mechanisms, you need tools in order to gather the data, to collect it, to harvest it, to curate it, to make use of it. And this is actually comes in the first process. And then you get into developing the model, fine-tuning the model in order to make it actually domain focused for your knowledge base, whether it's on the network optimization side or marketing or customer experience. And then actually, you want to put this model in a CI/CD pipeline where actually it's continuously integrating and continuously deploying. The reason behind this is actually we have done exactly the same in the app dev space probably a number of years ago. And we have done that in networks, in telcos as well, where we are working on how we can leverage DevOps for the life cycle of the application. And using DevOps in the life cycle of applications was key in order to get actually to this efficiency around the application development cycle. We want to do the same with AI. We want to put AI into what we call AI ops and bring in this actually feedback cycle from the time we gather the data, develop the model, deploy the model, monitor it, and then have the feedback around it so that we are always in continuous integration and continuous deployment. And we spend a lot of time in Red Hat doing exactly this. So bringing in the AI ops together with the DevOps for the applications so that actually you can make use of the best of both worlds on the AI side and on the application side. So it's very important to know that each of these boxes, we are talking about so many options on tools that can do them. And what is very important here is actually you want to have the best of breed in terms of open source, where is actually the best tools that can do each one of these blocks, but also how can you combine them onto one hybrid multi-cloud platform that can act as an abstraction layer when it comes to public cloud, when it comes to edge, when it comes to core. And this is very important because actually you want to have the same knowledge base, you want to have the same experience and you want to have actually the ability as well to utilize that toolbox across your different streams. This is actually where, if you have a multi-cloud strategy, like we heard in Scott Petty's session, this is very important actually, because this allows you to have that kind of abstraction layer across all of them. So if you start your AI strategy on the public cloud, and you decide as you go into production, there are lots of use cases that need to be on-prem, then you can take these use cases on the same platform with the same toolbox consistently, and then actually bring you the benefits of operationalization and efficiency. It's more important and beautiful if this actually same platform as well has got the right integrations with all the partners in the ecosystem. So you can actually have the integrations with the GPUs, you have the integrations with the different actually hardware that you use and so on typically. So in order to summarize this, I totally agree with what Matt Hicks have said actually in the Red Hat Summit this year, and I think this is actually shaping the current situation for us in Red Hat. So Matt Hicks put a bet on AI where he said that AI won't be built by a single entity or will be proprietary to one specific monolithic model. Your choice to run AI will be everywhere, and in order to do this, it's going to be based on open source. So what do we do in Red Hat? We provide a uniform, reliable, and secure platform on hybrid multi-cloud basis. It's based on Kubernetes. It's the market leading for Kubernetes platform in that perspective, not only to manage your applications, but also now to manage the AI in its life cycle. It provides you, it streamlines every stage of that process, as I mentioned, from gathering the data to developing the model to monitoring that model at the end. And it's providing you a consistent toolbox that you can use through your developers. This is the developers framework across all types of infrastructure. And it's a combination of the best of breed with the right integrations into hardware and software. So we in Red Hat, we are very committed to AI, and we are integrating AI in every product that we have got so far. So we actually have a very nice flowing story from adoption all the way to production when it comes to AI in Red Hat. So the first thing is we have integrated AI with RHEL. RHEL is the Red Hat Enterprise Linux. And by doing this, you can have a bootable image model that you can run on any infrastructure, really. With Instruct Lab, which is an open source project, we are actually bringing in the ability to have a model agnostic open source way to collaborate around the model, and actually brings you an easy entry into developing a model or fine-tuning a model because you can tap into that open source space. So you can use RHEL AI when it comes to actually you are in the beginning of this journey, you want to test applications with less barriers. You don't need to know Kubernetes. You don't need actually the skills behind developing your own model. You can tap into either already available models such as Granite, which comes from IBM as open source, or you can bring your own model as well. And as you go forward, as you want to put that into production, as you want to have enterprise-grade kind of developments for AI, you can get into OpenShift AI, which is actually the same Red Hat OpenShift platform that we have with AI capabilities to manage this life cycle. And this is what brings actually the full benefit. So you still bring in your own model, but you put that into actually a CI/CD kind of AI ops stream that runs both AI ops and DevOps for your applications and AI consequently. And we are bringing actually, or we have brought Lightspeed, which is a human language way to actually deal with developing playbooks and configurations. So it actually also improves the barrier or reduces the barrier for the ability to develop automation. Now you don't need to have the knowledge in order to write a whole YAML file, for example. You can bring in with Lightspeed, you can type what you want, that you want to build a playbook for running a network, and it will actually write that playbook for you so that you can utilize in order to set up server or run the network. And we're bringing that toolbox for the AI-enabled applications. Very importantly, on this platform, this is the same platform that you would be using for your Cloud RAN, for your 5G core, for your private networks, for your use cases across this whole ecosystem. So you're not really having to deal with different technologies differently, with different toolboxes differently. You are having the efficiencies within all of these actually domains, and you're using AI on top of that. So it brings you that also consistency in a very nice manner, also from the domain perspective. So if we put that into context, I think this is a bit missing something, but we have been working with Turkcell for the last year on AI developments, and Turkcell have been really active in actually trying to build an AI factory where the whole company can come and actually collaborate within this factory. So they decided to build this AI factory based on OpenShift AI. We brought OpenShift AI in order to actually have that consolidation of platforms across one platform that can provide the toolbox for all the departments. We then actually got every team contributing to developing the right model and developing the right knowledge as well as they go forward on that AI factory. So today we have more than 50 services running on that platform, and probably more than 6 or 7 use cases that they have developed already. This has actually led to 70% cost reductions as per Turkcell in terms of actually when they consolidated the platforms that they wanted to do for AI on the public cloud and on-prem. So this is running OpenShift AI today in Turkcell, runs on the public cloud and runs on-prem at the same time. So actually this consolidation has brought a lot of benefits. But also it brought the benefits of being able to deliver applications faster, being able to contribute more, being able to actually reduce the provisioning times as much as possible. So that's it. I think it's too much in 30 minutes, but happy to take any questions.
Okay, have you got any questions? Mindful that you're going to pick up a coffee. You could always nap mode during the break, maybe.
Yeah.
Anybody got a question?
Thank you, Mohamed, for a very good presentation. My question is, I'm trying to deploy generative AI model in Telenor, but I'm facing one problem with OpenShift. Okay. Because OpenShift doesn't give any USP for us, because my IT team is always of the view that we can do the same workloads and all these modeling and all those stuff in other platforms available. So do we need to transform towards OpenShift AI for that, or OpenShift itself having the critical billing application running on it? Can we have those, can we just slice it in a manner that we can use OpenShift for all these, both these applications?
So let me ask you, so what stage are you in today actually with these developments? Are we talking about production level applications? Okay. So no, I think it's all right.
Okay.
No, so I think to answer the question, really it depends on the situation. But I think it's critical actually to get the OpenShift AI capability on top of OpenShift to have the full value from the platform we are talking about here. In order to run the applications is one thing. In order to be able to actually keep developing and keep actually maintaining these applications, this is what we specialize in with OpenShift AI, and this is what brings in the full value of AI ops, because you need actually to bring in the machine that can actually keep making sure that this model is not drifting, making sure that this model is providing the right criteria and right developments for the different teams, and ties up with the success criteria. So if we are seeing today that actually the applications that we are getting today with the model is not having the full benefit, that's normal, because OpenShift is actually just a cloud-native platform that can cater for all different types of workload. But specifically with the investments we have put on AI, that actually brings in the specific toolbox that can allow you to get all of these different capabilities around, keep improving that use case and keep providing the full value of your AI developments. Thank you very much.